Let's be honest, eating healthy is not always the most convenient. You come home after work, you sling your bag on the floor, you want something easy, but more importantly, something healthy, but delicious. So here's my solution. At the beginning of this year, I set out with the goal to become shredded by July 4th. And the clock is ticking. With my trainer Noor, who's yoked, watching my every move, I have to stay consistent. These are the top 3 meals that are all done in under 30 minutes. Noor is here to clarify if we are on diet or not. Let's begin. I've got 3 meals you can make any weeknight that will keep it feeling like it's the weekend, if you know what I mean. I don't know what you do on the weekend, but I hope it's legal. Option 1, steak gyro wrap. Option 2, tikka masala. And option 3, chicken alfredo. None of these seem macro friendly, but they are. Calorie and price breakdowns will come at the end as we finish each of these. First, steak gyro. Now our 30-minute timer begins. A very basic feta garlic sauce. In a blender, combine 4 ounces or 113 grams of feta, 8 cloves of garlic, half a cup or 140 grams of low-fat Greek yogurt. Pause. I'm not a huge fan of low-fat ingredients. I think they're typically gross and gimmicky and like, how did you take the fat out of that? But I do think yogurt is one of the few exceptions because it's simply made with milk that's been skimmed of its high-fat, heavy cream. Add a splash of water and blend on high speed until as smooth as possible. Anyway, follow that with 1 tablespoon or 14 grams of extra virgin olive oil. Yeah, I know, right after talking about keeping it low-fat. Ha 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 ha. Add a splash of water. Now season that mixture to taste with salt. Optionally, strain the sauce through a fine mesh strainer, season to taste with salt, and whisk together, and you're done. This makes a lot of sauce, and you're only gonna use about 2 tablespoons of this per gyro. All right, we're 5 minutes in, 25 minutes left. Next, our topping. In a medium-sized bowl, add half a seedless English cucumber, thinly sliced. You can use a hand death trap, or you can use a knife, whichever you prefer. Half a red onion, also thinly sliced. Optionally, you can rinse your onions underwater to tone down the spiciness. 1 teaspoon or half a gram of finely chopped fresh oregano, 1 tablespoon or 3 grams of finely chopped fresh parsley, 1 finely chopped jalapeno, salt to taste, and 1 tablespoon or 15 grams of red wine vinegar. Toss together till combined, and it's like a little refreshing, crunchy garden waiting to sit atop your perfectly luscious gyro. And that took like what, maybe 5 minutes? Leaving us with 15 minutes remaining. Look, our steak is simple. Make a very basic rub consisting of 2 teaspoons or 5 grams of fresh ground black pepper, 1 teaspoon or 3 grams smoked paprika, 1 tablespoon or 15 grams of kosher salt, half a teaspoon or 1 gram of coriander powder, and half a teaspoon or 1 gram of ground cumin. Mix it till combined, wrestle yourself a 12 ounce or 340 gram flank steak, pat it dry with paper towels, split your steak into 2 evenly sized pieces, and season both sides generously with your steak rub. Now to cook the steak, you use a regular pan, a grill pan, or just a grill. I went with a cast iron grill pan because, well, I couldn't find my grill. Don't ask why, I don't know. Heat that over medium-high, grease the grates generously with cooking spray, and then one at a time, add to your pan, sear for about 3 minutes, give it a flip, and sear for an additional 2 to 3 minutes. Now we're sitting at around 9 to 10 minutes left, give or take. Your steak should be a beautiful medium rare, and is ready to come out of the pan, unless you want to leave it in there longer and hurt my feelings, so you can take it to medium if you desire that. There is no well done allowed. Now take it out of the pan, rest for 3 minutes, and we're sitting at around 24 minutes total. So take your remaining 6 minutes, slice your steak, heat your pita bread over an open flame until hot and lightly charred, about 15 seconds per side. Now look, this serves 2 people, so you only need 2 pitas and your 2 pieces of steak. So slap half your sliced steak on a hot pita, about 2 tablespoons of your feta garlic sauce, followed by your cucumber salad, as much as you like, and maybe a little fresh parsley for garnish. Repeat on the other pita. Boom, all done in 30 minutes or less. Now let's get our macro calorie assessment. Bada bing, bada boom, look at that. Ha, I like it. Nor will confirm later. Next, our tikka masala. Start the 30-minute timer. This serves up to 6 peoples, but if you're eating it by yourself, it's arguably better after sitting in the fridge and allowing the flavors to marry. Looks like the tikka is getting more action than you are. First, in a large bowl, combine 1 cup or 300 grams of low-fat Greek yogurt, a half-inch knob of ginger grated, 4 cloves of garlic grated or minced, 2 teaspoons or 8 grams of garam masala, 1 teaspoon or 2 grams of turmeric powder, 1 teaspoon or 3 grams of paprika, 1.5 teaspoons or 4 grams of ground cumin, 2 teaspoons or 10 grams of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon or 3 grams of ground black pepper. Whisk together till combined, and then add 2 pounds or 900 grams of boneless and skinless chicken breast that's been cut into 1.5-inch cubes. 24 minutes left. Mix together till nicely coated. First, we'll quickly sear all of our chicken. Heat a shallow pot or saute pan over medium-high heat. Grease the bottom with cooking spray. Now, once that's hotter than a seatbelt sitting in direct sunlight for hours in a parking lot, add your chicken and go ahead and sear it all at once. Look, in most cases, I recommend against doing that, but this is a weeknight meal. Let's be honest. You want to get it done in and out. And if you have your temperature at the max heat, and do not touch you'll get at least one side of most pieces to get a decent color. Now sear that for about 2 minutes, flip each piece and sear for 1 more minute. 21 minutes left. Take it out of your cooking vessel. Yes, it's still raw. I'd advise you don't have a little taste test quite yet. Reduce the heat of your pan to medium and add 1 medium yellow onion sliced. Season lightly with salt, 4 cloves of very finely chopped garlic, and a 1-inch knob of ginger grated. And saute for 3 minutes or until the onion has begun to soften. Then add 1 teaspoon or 2 grams of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon or 3 grams of ground cumin, half a teaspoon or 1 gram of cayenne powder. Stir that around, let that saute till fragrant, about 30 seconds. Then add half a cup or 120 milliliters of chicken stock, a 15-ounce can or 425 grams of crushed tomatoes, and a splash of water. Now, season lightly with salt, increase the heat to medium-high, bring that to a boil, and as soon as it starts boiling, add all that to a blender, blend on high until as smooth as possible, then return to your pan with a splash of water, reduce your heat to low to a nice light simmer, add your chicken back, and simmer for 10 minutes, or until the chicken's cooked through and the mixture has reduced. Now, finally, add 1 cup or 240 milliliters of half and half, not heavy cream unless you want to blow out the calories on this. Simmer for 3 more minutes, season to taste with salt, and serve immediately. Look, optionally, you can serve this with 1 cup of rice per person. Obviously, you would want to start the rice at the very beginning. And we're done with 5 minutes to spare, which I guess you could say that time could be applied to cutting onions or measuring or whatever else needs to be done. But let me be honest, I think this one cuts it a bit close to the 30-minute mark. It depends on your skill level, but I think that's still pretty good, pal. Now, totaling out at a macro calorie composition of this. I mean, are you kidding me? Last and arguably our easiest is chicken Alfredo. 30 minutes begins now. Look, you want this to go quick? Heed the advice of how we work in restaurants. If multiple things take time, then do them at the same time, right? If you have multiple things working at the same time, don't like start your pasta and then just stand there playing with ChatGPT on your phone. Get multiple things working at the same time and they'll finish at the same time. So first off, our pasta. Get 2 large pots, fill with water, and add to your stove and bring them both to a boil. Season both of them generously with salt. Now look, it's gonna take about 5 minutes for them to come up to a boil, so while you're waiting, go and do something else. In this case, you'll take 1 pound or 450 grams of a large boneless, skinless chicken breast, split those bad boys in half so they're thin and flat. And now we have 25 minutes left. Drop your pasta into boiling pot number 1 and 1 whole head worth of cauliflower that's been cut into florets in pot number 2. Boil your pasta for 9 minutes and your cauliflower for, well, the same amount of time. You want your cauliflower mushy. Now all those are cooking. Heat a 12-inch pan over medium-high heat, grease it with pan spray, then pat your breasts dry, the chicken breast. Season them with whatever you want. Spices, salt and pepper, I don't care. Once they're seasoned, add them to your pan and sear for 3 minutes per side. Because we cut them in half to thin them out, by the time you flip them and cook them for another 3 minutes, they should actually be fully cooked with an internal temp of 165 Fahrenheit. Take them out and leave them to rest until we are done. Now, after all that's done, let's say 10 minutes elapsed and we have 15 minutes left. Good thing the rest of this is actually extraordinarily simple. Now, once your cauliflower is done and very tender, add to a blender along with 5 cloves of garlic, a 1/4 cup or 22 grams of Parmigiano Reggiano, a 1/4 cup or 22 grams of Pecorino Romano. These are both grated, by the way. Half a cup or 120 grams of skim milk, salt and pepper to taste, add 2 tablespoons or 28 grams of unsalted butter, and blend everything until as smooth as physically possible. Then just season that to taste with salt and pepper as needed, and that whole process should take less than 3 minutes, honestly. Then once your pasta's done and al dente, drain out of your water. Surprisingly, you actually don't need the pasta water in this scenario, although you could use it if you wanted. Place your drained pasta into an empty container or the original pot that you used. Add as much of your cauliflower sauce as you like. Toss until coated, which leaves you with a grand total of 7 minutes to spare. Look, you can go ahead and plate it up now, but if you do have time, you could totally dice up 1 large zucchini, grease the skillet with cooking spray, heat over medium heat, and cook your zucchini with a little bit of salt and pepper to taste, maybe some spices or herbs, and cook for about 5 minutes, tossing occasionally until brown and just cooked through. That's optional. I like it, you know? I think when you add the pasta to a plate and a little vibrant green squash, maybe a little extra Parmigiano Reggiano, that tiny tinge of extra salty umami, having you scream, "Oh, mommy," seems like a pretty good idea. And it's done very easily for under 30 minutes in a grand total caloric breakdown of this for 4 servings. So here we are. I feel pretty good. You know, everything I would say for the most part passed the time test. Now let's begin the Knorr test. So we have 3 things here. Knorr is our analyst and our verifier. Welcome back. How do you feel?
Feeling good, man. Ready to eat.
Steak gyro, flank steak. This, on the other hand, there's a trick I did with this.
Okay.
I want you to try it first, then I'll tell you what the trick was. And then tikka masala.
Cheers.
Buongiorno.
Flaps.
Macro friendly.
That would have about 10-12 grams of fat.
Boom. On diet. Let's go. Next one. Good, right?
To use for cream.
Cauliflower. Cook the cauliflower down and you just blend it with a little bit of milk. In reality, like in this whole plate of pasta, there's probably like, I don't know, 2 tablespoons of milk, maybe.
It is balanced. You just have to portion out the pasta. I guess if you're trying to lose weight, 1 cup of pasta, 5 to 6 ounces of chicken, 2 to 3 ounces of veggies.
On diet.
All right, last one. So this is tikka masala. Obviously, give a little stir. We can't use heavy cream, so I used half and half instead, 12 grams of fat for the whole recipe.
Again. This is my favorite out of all three.
High protein, low fat, it's got a lot of flavor. This is the big one.
This has the most flavor.
I agree, and it's the easiest to make.
Go figure.
1 cup of carbs, you're on diet, period, end of story, in under 30 minutes, baby.
Yeah.
Would you make this?
I told you I'll cook better than you sometimes.
And on the next episode of Get Shredded, I'm gonna get my kicked.
If you're on a diet, don't think of it as a diet. Think of it as a moment to get creative with your food and enjoy it.